Hello and welcome to EmpowHER, the program that focuses on the achievements of remarkable women who are changing the narrative and influencing the society in a positive way. I am your host, Sharon J. And today we are shining the spotlight on a Nigerian political leader, strategist, and founder of the Formidable Female Movement Africa, dedicated to empowering women to lead boldly in environments that often suppress them. She currently serves in key political and business leadership positions, including as National Welfare Officer SDP and IPAC Chairperson for Youth Affairs. Known for her eloquence, passion, and bold presence, she's building a new generation of African female leaders through her advocacy, programs, and visionary movement. Now let's make welcome Judith Shu'aibu. It's amazing to have you in the studio with us today, ma'am.
How are you doing, Sharon?
Yeah, and you look beautiful in pink, I must say.
Thank you. You look great yourself.
Thank you. Well, let's start off by the description. Now you've been described as the powerhouse at the intersection of politics, business, and women empowerment. And that's such a beautiful description, I must say. But I want you to tell us about you. What's your description of you by you?
Well, I would describe myself as somebody who has, from a very young age, seen quite a lot, been exposed to a lot in life, and that has formed the simple woman who thrives to see change as far as the territory she grew up in. That's who I am today. That very simple girl who grew up in the most chaotic environment you can ever imagine and is striving to make sure that what she met is not what she leaves. That's who I am.
Wow. Such a nice description. Okay, let's talk about your journey now, from representing Nigeria at the debating championship to being named and recognized as one of the most impactful women in leadership today. That's quite a journey, I must say. Tell us how this journey has shaped you into being this remarkable woman that you are now.
Debating for me started from secondary school, early teenage. And then I was saddled with the privilege, really, to represent my school at my local government, then somewhere in Kaduna State. Yeah. And then from there, I was able to represent the state multiple times, my region first, and then the state multiple times at national debates. That was started by Chief Olusegun Obasanjo all those years ago. It's called the Nigerian National Debating Championships. So I represented Kaduna State a number of times, and then it was from there that I qualified to represent Nigeria as the only female as at my time, and the times that I represented Nigeria more than once at the World Schools Debating Championship. That for me was a lot. So from a girl whom you wouldn't say had anything, I wasn't exactly born with what you would call the silver spoon, or what people generally define as there's a pedestal that sets you up for that. It was really purely privilege, of course, the grace of God, and then me taking seriously the opportunities presented to me even from a young age. There's nothing you give me that I take as a joke, that I play with. And then just giving my best had paved that way. And for me, it started growing from there. You are a teenager, and then you are leaving the shores of Nigeria off of 0 penny from your parents or relatives or anybody. And then you have that responsibility. Now, as much as that is wonderful or beautiful, that also saddled responsibility on my shoulder. Yeah. Now, that responsibility is there's a way you are supposed to act when you're representing the nation. There's a way you're expected to deliver. And then more importantly, when you're the only female amongst men, that is another ballgame altogether. Definitely. And especially then when you have to lead. Now, that's a whole different thing. And all those years ago when I started that, it wasn't exactly as common to always just see that at play. But I was able to benefit off of the shoulders of women who have strived to, give opportunities to other women, so to speak. So at a time when it wasn't as common, somehow I was able to build on that. And it started from there. And then life has happened in multiple dimensions as well. Now, if you have my kind of background where you are from the northern part of Nigeria, there's an extra layer of limitation that comes with that. You're supposed to be extra conservative. You're supposed to project yourself a certain way. You're supposed to appear a certain way. But all of those things were there. But all that did for me through my journey, for every challenge, for every situation I was faced with, for every opportunity given, what I see it fuels me. So when you tell me that, you know what, you can't do something, or when you tell me it is difficult to do something, you inspire me to want to do it, because why is it difficult? I need to find out why it's difficult. So I think that spirit has fueled me. So really I've lived by like 2 to 3 core values. First is integrity for me, that when you trust me with something, I need to deliver. Like people would say, that if Judy gives you her word, you need to be able to take it to the bank. I feel an obligation to live up to that. That is one. So integrity. And then secondly is the fact that whatever challenge there is, let's find a solution. And then added to that will be the fact that whatever I met, I must not leave the same way. Because really, I am spooked by discomfort. I hate discomfort. So if something makes me uncomfortable, I want to change it. Now that fuels me. And that has propelled the journey to being able to come up, to where I am. And I must say, I think there's another thing really, which is the fact that sometimes I get bored of complaining. So whatever the country is, not just my peculiarity. So it's not only that, I want my environment to be different or to be better. It is also because, you know what, I don't like the whining. There's something it does to me. And so I came up with this and said, instead of saying, the country is bad, these leaders are not doing well, or things are deteriorating, what can we do about that? So for me, I didn't have that answer growing up. I've asked the question severally. So what can we do about it? And because nobody is really able to give the answer to that question, I decided that I wanted to figure out the answer to that question. And to be able to do that meant that I needed to get as close as I can to where the decisions are being made, to where it is happening. And so that has inspired me to getting into politics as young as I did. And that has prepared my journey and has shaped my journey to where it is today.
Amazing. You talked about politics. Well, for some of our viewers, they might not even know you're a politician, but we are going to go straight into that. But before we go into that, we're going to go on a short break. And when we return, of course, Empower continues.
Culture connects us beyond borders. It's a bridge between traditions, creativity, and the future.
Culture is alive, shaping identities and communities every day.
Art tells stories of resilience and vision.
Artists blend tradition with innovation.
Cultural preservation creates sustainability and empowerment.
Culture evolves and adapts.
Music and dance unites communities through movement.
And right here, in the heart of our cities, artists and creators are keeping these cultures alive.
On Culture Cove, let's explore,
celebrate, and preserve the arts and culture that define us.
All right, if you're just tuning in, this is Empower, and I am in the studio with Judith Shu'aibu. Let's focus on the NGO part. You founded Formidable Female Movement Africa initiative. Yes, and that's quite a bold initiative, I must say. Any initiative that has to do with women and girls, oh, count me in. That's such a bold and nice initiative, I must say. Take us through the part of what inspired you to go into the NGO field and create this initiative.
Okay, so the Formidable Female is, as of right now, not exactly an NGO.
Yeah. Okay.
It is a movement.
Okay.
So that there's a difference. I don't know if it will spin into an NGO eventually, but as of right now, it is a movement. It is collective individuals with like minds who want to change the trajectory of what we know Africa to be, of what it means to be melanin, of what it means to have a black skin, and what it means to be a female at that. So it's a collection of those people who believe that the future of Africa is as vibrant and as dreamy as people say it is, but taking a step further to making sure that we actually birth that future. Because I personally believe this, that some of the most instrumental people of society is absolutely women.
Yeah.
And the conversation needs to move past the limitation. The conversation needs to move past the challenge. The conversation needs to move past equality or not. I believe that women need to be able to sit down, especially African women, and pick up the challenge and run with the baton. There is a gap that's to be filled. How do we do that? It is by women taking responsibility and taking charge of their future and their destiny. And this is across several spectrums. It can be in business, it can be academia, it could be just family, woman, it could be all the sectors. Women just need to be able to wake up to the responsibility there is and move past the complaints and the chasing and the this and the that and the waiting. Because you find that there's a generation of women before ours who wait for things to be handed to them. Yes, they are saying we need equality, or they are saying that women need more rights, women need more privileges, women need to be exposed to capacity. Okay, yes, that's true. But can we move past that and actually take responsibility and charge for what that destiny is going to look like? And so once women are able to awaken to that reality, and then Formidable Female comes in, it's existing to awaken women to that reality, but take it a step further by equipping women when they do wake up to that reality, and then make sure that they have the guidance and the community to work with as they plunge into that future. Because one of the most critical things is that women must understand that you can't walk alone.
Yeah,
you can't work alone. And it's beyond just your friend circles that you just hang out. You need an actual system. You need an actual community that shapes you, that equips you, that trains you, and that releases you but doesn't leave you alone, but works with you to make sure that you achieve the goal of transforming the trajectory of what Africa is known for and perceived as, and that Africa would be able to live up to her potential. That is Formidable Female. That for me is the inspiration.
That's really cool, really nice. So to be part of this movement, how can women be part of this movement? Especially women, let's even say women in the rural communities, because those are women that even need confidence, need to be reminded of their worth, need to be reminded that they are worth more than the society and the stereotypes that surrounds women. So for women there that might get the opportunity to see you, watch this interview, how can they join the movement and be part of this movement?
Okay, first of all, the Formidable Female has a website that is www.formidablefemale.org. Okay. First of all, that's one general access for people who at least have access to some form of technology. This is something anybody can help women with. The Formidable Female has multiple variations and of how you can be part of the community. Okay. So we have community in terms of groups that women can join where they get day-to-day, daily inspiration, daily access to information, daily access to tools that would equip them for daily living. So people can be a part of that. All they need to do is basically, on the site again, you can contact. On the site again, you can get numbers, phone numbers and all of that, because I don't know if on this show, on this program rather, I'm supposed to call out a number or whatever the case may be, but really we would leave our information with you. Two people can definitely reach out and then be able to join the community via that. People can also sign up via email, people can sign up via the website, but more importantly, we're launching the pilot Formidable Female Conference, which is coming up on the 15th of October this year. Now, that is an open opportunity for women to be able to come in person to the capital city. Unfortunately, right, we can't go everywhere just yet, but to the capital city and be able to access that. Now, it's an avenue where women can interact with leaders, people who are change makers, who are living the life, people who have put in the work, to be able to tell firsthand, this is how I did it. Because we are not interested in the cliche. We want to make sure that it's real. We want to make sure that they're getting the actual information. So that conference is going to afford that. But then beyond that as well, the Formidable Female has different components, meeting different needs. So eventually the Formidable Female will cascade into states, into cities, not just Nigeria, it's Africa, would cascade and will have representation in multiple states so that people can have access in their locality. We're going to launch that hopefully by 2026. That's something to look out for. But more importantly, I think that people should definitely leverage the fact that you are creating this awareness, and then they should leverage the fact that the site is also there for them to be able to, get how to contact us. But there's always people hands-on to attend to whoever is interested in being part of the network, for sure. And I'm the kind of woman that you can stop on the streets on a good day. If I'm not afraid of what you look like, I would likely respond for sure and answer, the questions.
Yeah,
so
thank you,
yes.
Honorable Judith. Now we'll be going to politics. But of course, before we dive right into that, we're going to go on a short break. And when we return, Empower continues.
Culture connects us beyond borders. It's a bridge between traditions, creativity, and the future.
Culture is alive, shaping identities and communities every day.
Art tells stories of resilience and vision.
Artists blend tradition with innovation.
Cultural preservation creates sustainability and empowerment.
Culture evolves and adapts.
Music and dance unites communities through movement.
And right here, in the heart of our cities, artists and creators are keeping these cultures alive.
On Culture Cove, let's explore,
celebrate, and preserve the arts and culture that define us.
Welcome back. If you are just tuning in, this is Empower. Honorable Judith, let's turn to politics. Now, politics can be, in Nigeria, across Africa, can be a difficult terrain, especially for women. Now, you are there, you are a politician, of course. How have you, or rather, what's your defining experience, one of your defining experience navigating that space?
Oh, it is hard. I tell you what, Sharon. It is the least easy thing to do, to be in the political space, especially in a country like Nigeria, where the bias is heightened, where sentiments are highlighted, and all of that. And by defining moments, I would say, is it as per challenge and how I navigated, or defining moments as per highlights?
You could talk about the both of them.
Yeah. Okay. So the challenge is the same stereotypes, right? People think you are too young, especially at the time I entered. People are like, who is this girl? They would literally address you as a girl. And women would do that even more so than men. But they would literally address you as that. So those things are there. People think you are either too young. People think you are a female. How much can you really do? Then you have the pressure of also people who think, well, you are pretty. Some people have the idea that maybe you're pretty. And so therefore, if you're a woman and you're in political space, you must be available for shenanigans and all, so those kinds of challenges are there. But then the highlights and defining moments of those things is they have shaped me. They've trained me. Politics will test your true character. Politics will test whether or not you have boundaries. Politics will test whether or not you have focus. And those for me have shaped me. The experience has shaped me, both from the male and female gender. And then more importantly, there are people who have also believed in me. And that I appreciate. There are people who have also believed in me. And that's why I would say that if you want to get into politics or anybody, it is very important that if you find people who believe in you, honor them and maximize the opportunity. Because out of the multitude who want to say no, there are a few people who said yes, but that I did not also abuse. And then the Creator has sustained the journey up until where we are right now. So for me, that has been more or less a summary of my journey. But the challenge is enormous.
I can imagine. That's quite interesting, I must say.
Yes.
Politics, usually people will tag politics, or there is this what people will say, oh, politics is a dirty game, politics is this, that. And funny enough, you would think it's just people at the grassroots or people in rural areas that address politics as that. But literally, it's now like a norm. And politics is dirty, politics is intimidating, and all of that. How can we rephrase this narrative, of politics being dirty? And also, what are we to put in place to take off the political apathy that most women face because of the stereotype?
Right. Okay, so first, how do we reframe that? First, women need to pick the challenge. Again, that is like what the Formidable Female community does. Women have to. If we want to change it, you have to step in. The way to change anything faster is when you're in that space. You can't do it by speculating. You can't do it by adding to, okay, so it is bad, then what? So that is the first thing. The mentality has to change. The audacity to try to do different. And then I must also say that part of it is that there must be a strategic roadmap as to how we are approaching politics, women and men alike, but even more so women, since that's the conversation. There has to be strategy, develop templates. What is it you want to achieve by getting into political space? Is it because you want to be called honorable? Is it because you want to be called senator? Is it because you want to be a president? Is it just about the ambition? Or is it really about the nation? Is it about the people? So if people can refine their vision, their perspective, and why they're getting into politics in the first place, I think we'll have a different breed of people. And then that is basic. And then on top of that is to now also have a strategy. Don't just get in, because if you just get in, like I said, politics tested, it would test you. It would test everything about your being as a person. And so if you're not prepared for it, if you don't have the mental game for it, you don't have skin for it, you won't be able to last long or do well. You might end up joining the people who have laid down that precedence. So if we want to change it, we must pick up the challenge to present it differently, right? And then, so you said, what do we do now to encourage women? Well, we have seen in recent times more women, frankly, coming out. If in terms of vote, I think women actually vote more than any other category, definitely more than men. Women would turn up from 3 a.m., 4 a.m., stand on the queue. But we need more women to do so. But we need them to also do it intentionally. So one thing I would say generally as advice to women is that it would never come to us on a platter. The system would never exactly change. If we want to be able to influence power, we must seize it. That's just what it is. You have to take it. So that means more women must come together. In circles, in communities, in sisterhood, it has to be forged. The path has to be created. It's like I have this popular saying where I say that if there's no table for you to sit on, they say invent one, right? And I say if the door is shut and the walls are thick, drill a hole in it. That's how to approach it. It's never going to come easy, but we have to pick up the challenge to intentionally do so. So that means that we must pass the primitive thinking of, oh, this is a woman, I need to be envious, I need to be this, I need to be that. That's old news. What we want to do is to change what the narrative is, and we must just pick up the battle ready and then be intentional about it. So I think that would encourage more women, especially if they're part of communities that can help them build a sustainable plan for such things. Yes.
Well, rightly said, Honorable. I have quite a number of questions to ask you, but of course, we are behind time. I would read a report, and I would want you as a woman in politics to just give a comment on it. Now, the report says there are 29 countries where 32 women serve as heads of state and or government. At the current rate, gender equality in the highest positions of power will not be reached for another 130 years. Now, the source is from the UN Women, of course, the recent report. Kindly drop a comment in regards to this report.
It is rather sad. 130 years, some of us will not even be alive, but it is sad.
Yeah.
And I think that what this report does is it should spike a challenge in the hearts of women. That there's no time to sit around and just focus on trivial matters that don't affect change or change the trajectory of what the world is. We can complain from now till tomorrow, nothing's going to change. But reports like this, 130 years, even the youngest of us right now may not be alive to witness when it actually changed. So that means we must embody a radical approach to being intentional about changing what the history has been, what the story has been, so that we can forge a new path for the women after us. So that in less than 130 years, we would have hit milestones that other women can stand on those shoulders and leverage on. I think that is a challenge for every woman out there to know that there's work that needs to be done, and all of us are key factors in getting that job done.
Thank you so much, which I would say I enjoyed every bit of it. Well, that's where we draw the line on Empower, and I hope you've been inspired by Honorable Judith. Until next time, I am your host, Shauna G.